Just a little bit of half a step back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. What's up, sweet tea?
What's up, my friends? How are we doing today?
We've had some great fights, man. UFC 300, you know, we had the Ryan Garcia fight, man, which is awesome, and we've been putting some sick content out for you guys.
Speaking of content, the last video we did was Wonderboy breaking down Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira and how he set up that devastating KO. This past weekend, we had KC 45, which featured in the main event Luke Rockhold taking on the legend Joe Schilling, and in that fight, Luke Rockhold dropped and stopped Joe Schilling with a lead hand hook. Now, we had one viewer comment on our previous video asking about the lead hook and why it's so effective against karate guys, or just so effective in general.
Right, so today we're going to be telling you guys what the check hook is. We're going to be breaking it down, showing you how to use it and why it can be so effective against karate guys.
Stay tuned.
Not all karate guys. What up, everybody? Everybody, what's up, everybody?
Now, before we talk about how to throw the check hook, we're going to talk about what the check hook is. Now, that comment specifically asked about the lead hand hook, but usually when you're throwing a lead hand hook, it's going to be in the form of a check hook. Now, simply what that means is you are checking your opponent who might be an aggressive fighter, moving in, closing the gap, and you're checking them with that lead hand, touching them on the chin, letting them know, chill out, I got your timing, don't move any closer.
And if you hit it flush, you in the fight. Well, let's start off with number one, how to throw a check hook. I'm gonna have my right side forward, sweet tea. You can do this check hook from an open stance or a closed stance, depending on what side forward your opponent has. So we're gonna go open stance, make it a little bit easier for you guys to see. Like sweet tea said, this is against an aggressive opponent, right? Somebody coming forward all the time, many different ways. Sometimes they walk forward, sometimes they shuffle forward, or sometimes they try to blitz you. Great time to throw the check hook. Now, you're not just throwing any hook, right? I'm not just throwing any hook. The way I throw the check hook, in my opinion, this is how I like to throw it. I like to fade back and kind of block with my shoulder, because again, your opponent could be throwing a punch as he's closing the gap, and you don't want to get pieced up. As sweet tea comes forward with the jab, I can't just throw my hook with my chin sticking out there. I've got to get my shoulder in front to kind of deflect that jab. And so a lot of times, even if I miss you, my shoulder is out there just enough to deflect the jab. Now, you want to come over top. Don't want to go underneath the punch. You got different techniques for that, but my goal is to go over top with the check hook. And it's done with the lead hand. Preferably, I like to use the front hand, not the back hand. Some people say that's not a check hook, but anyway, I digress. Back up a little bit. So as he comes forward, my goal is to get the shoulder in the way and then come right over top of that hook. Now, depending on how long your partner is,
Arms wise,
I may have to do a little half a step back. So for instance, sweet tea has got a really long reach to get your arm out. Yeah. What is your reach, bro? Holy crap. So if I was gonna do a check hook with a sweet tea, I may have to take a half a step back as he comes forward. Now, we've seen check hooks done many ways. Stepping back, or even in Alex Pereira's fight, he was moving forward. He met him in the middle, right? So that's from open stance, correct? Front hand, he blitzes in, boom, I'm coming over top. Getting my shoulder in the way, fading my head back just a little bit, having that shoulder protect my chin as I come over top. People throw the hook many different ways. I prefer throwing palm towards me. A lot of times, if the palm is down, you end up hitting with the knuckle, sweet tea, and you get the boxer's fracture.
You always want to try to aim to hit with the bigger knuckles on your fist and try to stay away from that pinky and ring finger knuckle, because those tend to break a little bit easier than the two big knuckles of the index and the middle finger.
Couldn't say it better myself, sweet tea.
Yes, sir.
Now, hook can be done different ways, like I said. Could be here, it could be a long hook as well. If I'm sparring sweet tea, it's gonna have to be a long hook. He's got such greater reach than I do. So it could be here and it could be here. I like Alex Garcia. Why do I keep saying Alex Garcia? Ryan Garcia's check hook, because he throws it out here. It's so blistering fast, the guy doesn't see it coming. So great time to throw it is when they're coming forward and when they're throwing that jab.
Take advantage of their aggressiveness by checking them with that strike, with that hook, coming around their guard as those punches come in straight. The side of the target tends to be more open, so the hook is perfect. Because what I don't want to do is if he's coming straight forward and I'm going straight forward, we're gonna clash here a little bit. So I'm trying to take that path around his straight attacks and find that opening in his guard with that lead hand or that check hook.
And it can be done many ways. I could step back, I could come forward, or I could step around you as you come forward. Now, what if we're in a closed stance? Right? Same thing. I like the closed stance even better, his right foot, my right foot, because I can get a little slippage going there. If he throws the jab, instead of coming over the top, I can slip just to the inside of that jab, putting his body and his head in my range, in my target. Those are my targets I'm gonna be hitting.
There's obvious risks with slipping to the inside, but WB knows that, and that's why he's able to throw it.
What the risk is, he throws the jab. If I'm not careful, I run into this hand here. As soon as I slip, my hook has gotta be fired out there as soon as possible. So it looks something like this, boom, just like so. I can still go this direction, but the thing is, since it's like a perfect line right to my my jaw from a closed stance. Open stance, I can kind of bump it out of the way. This one's gonna be a little more difficult. So that's why I slip to the inside, A or B there. Almost at the exact same time, right? I don't wanna wait. If I go to the body, I can load up a little bit, but usually it's like 1, 2. It's not a 1, wait for a second, and then try to throw because that left hand's coming right at your face.
Absolutely, which was what makes those lead hand hooks and those check hooks super effective, has to do with the technique itself and the timing of the technique. You gotta know what your partner likes to do. You gotta know their speed, what speed they like to enter into the pocket at. That's what makes that lead hand or that check hook so effective. So, WB, let's show him some.
Let's do it, bro.
All he's gonna do now is, as I step into this range, he's just gonna fire off that lead hand hook.
And again, this is a great way to develop timing. You have to have impeccable timing when it comes to the check hook, like you said.
Yep.
So this drill right here is a great way to develop that timing.
Case in point, wasn't it Masvidal trying to throw a check hook when Usman slept him?
Oh.
I think it was, so gotta be ready. That timing has to be perfect. Here we go, I'm just gonna step into the pocket.
Boosh. Boosh. Boosh.
Good, one more time.
Boosh.
Now, as I move forward, he's gonna continue that half a step backwards, allowing me to get even more into that range, to feel like my blitz is working or my aggressiveness is working, and then that check hook is waiting around the corner.
You can set your opponent up with this as well. If you notice, my hand isn't up here, it's slightly down. I know Ryan Garcia likes to keep that hand fairly low, which really makes this guy say, all right, his face is open, let me step in and throw the jab, setting up the check hook perfectly. My hand's down here like so. As he steps in, I just boom. So I like to set it up by getting in this position here. Boosh.
Just a little bit of half a step back.
Boosh. Boosh.
And if that lead hand doesn't work effectively right off the bat, he can set up with that too. Just follow something afterwards. So we've talked about what the check hook is, how to throw the check hook. We didn't go super in-depth on the technique of the check hook, but if you want us to drop a full in-depth video on the check hook, leave a comment down below. But now we're gonna talk about why that lead hook is so effective, and in particular, why can it be so effective against karate guys, like noted in the comments.
Not all karate guys.
Super karate guys. Karate guys that don't have a whole lot of full contact experience.
You see a lot of finishes in karate combat, guys are getting knocked out with the check hook, and it has to do with the way karate guys fight. They're always closing the gap, blitzing, different angles, things like that, and sometimes if you're a stationary opponent, it can be hard to deal with. So you develop the check hook against guys who are constantly moving, feinting, and blitzing forward. They're always closing the gap, because most karate guys keep a fairly far distance away from their opponent, so they gotta close that gap. That's why it works so well. You catch them when they're coming in.
And number two, when karate guys do throw the blitz, they're typically throwing straight punches with the blitz. So when they're throwing straight punches, you don't throw a straight punch back, you come around the straight punch and you hit them on the target. Now, another reason the check hook or the lead hook can be so effective, I believe, is because of the timing of it. We talked about timing when we were demonstrating, but it's so important because the best time to hit somebody is when they're throwing a strike of their own for two reasons. Reason number one, because they're open. It's hard to block yourself and throw a strike at the same time. Number two, when your opponent's striking or when you're throwing a strike, that's the last time you're expecting to get hit yourself. And a lot of KOs happen when the person who's getting hit is not expecting to get hit. So they don't have that opportunity to brace for impact or do the things that they need to do to avoid that KO shot.
Boom, Sweet Tea, you were amazing, sir. Well, there you have it, guys. The check hook Go work on it, Sweet Tea. Thanks for joining me, my man. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, throw the comments down below, and hit that like button.
Also, make sure you ring the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our uploads. We got UFC 301. The UFC heads back to Brazil, coming right around the corner. Not only is WB going to be breaking down the main event fighters of those cards, but we're going to be going live again on the channel for UFC 301's main card. So make sure you hit that notification bell so that you guys don't miss us going live. Woo! People are like, you were going live? I didn't even know y'all were live. Yeah, we're going live UFC 301 main card, so tune in for that.
Let's go, baby.